lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll up to the party, roll up to the
Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I hope it finds you well. It's a bit nippy and chilly out there. Let me just get rid of that time because that was just going to confuse everyone when they're looking at the time and they're going, time isn't pass. Anyway, good morning, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are getting closer to the 20,000. We are getting closer to the 20 that I wanted to get before the cup final, or if not before the cup final, but before the derby game in January, and it looks like we are going to do that. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We're on 19,784. It's exciting, isn't it? Anyway, there's a few things I want to talk about. We are back to normal league football. Before we talk about that, remember we do have the Amazon Celtic shop. You can click on there to get all your Celtic memorabilia and gift ideas for your loved one this Christmas. And it's not just for Christmas, any time of the year. So if you click onto that and you notice that Murdo McLeod's new book, I think that's on that as well. Well, anyway, we'll soon see. Celtic are back in action this weekend, thankfully, and it is Hearts away. Celtic currently sit at the top of the table with a fantastic point tally of 31, but so do Aberdeen, who are chasing us down every single street that we go, as it says. I've just noticed, still to meet this, I need to change that, don't I? Anyway, and Motherwell, Dundee United are chasing the Rangers, but Celtic do play Hearts, who are sitting away down at the bottom of the table. It is an away game, it is a late start on Saturday. I'm sure that everyone that will be going to the game will be well up for it on a singing voice. There is that reduced allocation of fans. Let's see if Hearts can fill out their stadium or if there's big empty spaces due to the fact that Celtic are in town, but we all know that they like to fill their stadium for Celtic. One player that's been getting spoken highly of, well, we'll talk about the games first of all, because it's an important period. We're going to talk about Tony Ralston in a minute, and we're going to talk about Lennon Miller. But the period that we're coming into, now that we're halfway point of the season, just getting November out the way, we've got 3 games in November still to play, even though sitting on the 21st of November as this video is recorded. People don't tend to watch them the next day either. But anyway, we play Hearts this weekend, which is a late kick-off. And then we play Club Bruges at Celtic Park on the Wednesday the 27th. Back to Champions League action. That'll be absolutely buzzing to see what kind of tifo the Green Brigade put out this time. Will they put out another tifo for the visit of Club Bruges at Celtic Park? The ones that they've done so far have been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. They seem to be just up in the game every single time. Anyway, and then we end off November with a visit to Ross County at Celtic Park. That then takes us on to December. Remember, December. It is a busy period for Celtic. It is December and January is going to be the 2 months that will define the Celtic season. We start off with a away trip on a Wednesday night. Now, Wednesday night in Aberdeen at this time of the season has brought back some memorable games over the years, going away back to Ronnie Dyler winning away at Aberdeen on a late Wednesday night. I was there that night and it was fantastic. That'll give us the springboard to go on and achieve things under Ronnie. Brendan Rodgers also won at Aberdeen at a tricky away Wednesday night game. It's always Aberdeen on a Wednesday night that seems to do it. The fact that Aberdeen are level with us on points, will this be the springboard? And I have been saying it since the start of the season. Wait till we get to December. There's always one game in December that'll be the turning point for the season. Now, will it be that Aberdeen game? I think it will, because that gives us a 3-point gap at the top of the table if they haven't dropped points by then. We're then going to play Hibernian the following Saturday, the 7th, and then we're away to Dynamo Zagreb in the Champions League. Now, there is a bit of confusion about how much tickets. I think they're on about, they were, the last time I checked, they were going to reduce the amount of tickets that has been sold have been allocated to Celtic fans, and originally there was over 3,000 we were told at the beginning of the Champions League. So there's going to be a lot of people possibly in Zagreb without tickets, which I think has been this despicable if that happens, especially since it was spoken about that we're going to get 3,000 tickets. Anyway, and then we're going to Hampden. Oh, Hampden in the wintry sun. Yep. Well, it will be getting dark the time the game kicks off, actually, because it's a late kickoff, isn't it, on the Sunday afternoon? When we play the Sevco at Hampden for the first silverware of the season. Yes, the first silverware of the season. And will we be able to change this one here to 22 trophies? Will we be able to do that? I think it's in the bag, isn't it? I think it's in the bag. If we turn up and play the football that we can play, it's in the bag, and I'll need to change the screen to 22. And let's just hope I'm right, and they don't get a lucky couple of penalties or something. But anyway, before that, we've got all these important games. And then after that, also, we play Dundee United away to Dundee United, away to Motherwell. At home to Motherwell, and then at home to St Johnstone as we finish off 2024 in style before we then head to Ibrox on the 2nd of January to face them. And that will hopefully put to bed any hopes of them catching us anytime soon. It's always a fantastic period. Remember last December, well, we dropped a few points, and it was unlike Celtic to drop points. Brendan Rodgers will want to right that wrong this year. He'll want to make sure that it's a 100% record in December. Then we head into January. We'll talk about that closer to the time, because January is a massive, absolutely massive month again when it comes to Celtic, and it's unusual for us to be talking about Champions League. But hopefully we'll have the cup in the bag. We'll have beaten Rangers at the beginning of the month, and then there's some cracking games throughout the month of January with 2 Champions League games. 2 Champions League games still to go in January. What a fantastic time to be a Celtic fan. I think when we get to the Young Boys game at Celtic Park, we will know the position that we will be in when it comes to qualifying for the Champions League. I think even before then, when we look at the 6 points, I think as long as we're at least 8 points above that zone where we're in finishing 24th position, I think that we should manage that, no problem. And I think that it's going to be exciting to see if Celtic can make the last 8. I think that's going to be the hardest point, the hardest thing to try and do is automatically qualify. But if we don't automatically qualify and gain that £9.2 million, we have to play 2 playoff games, and the 2 playoff games are worth £1.4 million each. So there's more money into the coffers. And before that, we'll also have an AGM to talk about, which is this week, actually, isn't it? Anyway, let's talk about Tony Ralston before we talk about Lennon Miller again. He seems to be a person that is getting an awful lot of airtime for Celtic. I just hope that this Celtic managed to get a deal for this guy over the line, or we've been speaking about this guy for about couple of weeks now, and if it doesn't go over the line, we've been wasting our breaths, haven't we? But anyway, we're going to talk about a fullback that is at Celtic currently, and he's been getting plaudits this week with his exploits for his national team. He was born in 1998. Yep, 1998. What was I doing in 1998? Jesus, a long time ago. I can remember what I was doing. I was working in Nairnsies in Kirkcaldy. Yep, the linoleum factory that had been around for 150 years, a lot longer than Rangers. Anyway, he made his debut in 2016 on against St Johnstone. Did this player? Yes, it is Tony Ralston, who's at 6 foot tall. He signed for Celtic the 16th of November 2008. He went on to St Johnstone on loan and Dundee United on loan. The talented fullback has been on an incredible journey with Celtic, which has taken him from a ball boy, as many of the younger players do. You can remember Kieran Tierney also getting pictured as a ball boy with a certain player that he went on to replace. Anyway, the 18-year-old Ralston regularly featured in the first team's squad. Changed days, isn't it? That players that are 18 these days are not getting in and around the squads. And I think everybody on the channel knows how I feel about it. We should be bringing these players through if we want them to be a success at the club. Francis Turley, we need to be bringing him through. Young boy Cummins, we need to be bringing him through and getting him the game time also. But Tony Ralston started his career in 2017-2018, the double treble season. Double treble. He got started against a match against Paris Saint-Germain. PSG, yep, back in the day. One of the highlights of Tony Ralston's career was Ross County under Ange in 2022-2023 season. We all remember that last-minute winner. And that was a late game as well. That was a late Sunday game, wasn't it? And it was the 97th minute, and it was in the game in December, and it was a game that was a turning point. That's the reason I'm talking about this, is when we looked at the Aberdeen game, I think that due to the fact that that is a midweek game again, it's always a midweek game in December, or a late kickoff in December, that has a significant moment, and it's the moment we go, yep, this is when we turn the screw and we just fire on to win the league. At the time of his start in his Celtic career, his progression was hampered. He did go on to have loan spells at Dundee United and St Johnstone, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 season, after previously being loaned out to Queen's Park. Tony Ralston shows that young boys can come through the Celtic team and make it into the first team squad. Now, whether they're happy enough and playing as much as what Tony plays is a different thing altogether. But I think it's important that we maintain it's not really been a conveyor belt though, has it? But we need to maintain players, and we need to let them know that there is a pathway. Now we have Darren O'Dea that has that pathway manager, and let's just hope that he can keep the ones that are coming through, because we've been losing far too many younger players. Anyway, we'll move on for that, because we're going to talk about a younger player that is not at Celtic, but has been linked with Celtic over the last number of weeks. Yes, Lennon Miller. Celtic are seemingly going to Celtic had scouts at the Scotland under-19 match against France on Tuesday night, which is interesting. The Hoops, along with Rangers, Manchester United, Man City, Aston Villa, Chelsea and Liverpool, all watched the young captain of his country. Well, when you've got the teams like that looking at him, I mean, is it the fact that the media are talking and hyping up this player, and hyping up the player, and that's what's maybe got the likes of the English teams talking about him? I don't know. Anyway, it was a 0-0 draw at the Falkirk Stadium, but he done enough to advance to the next round of the under-19s qualification for the 2025 for the European Championships. Celtic's interest in Miller has been well documented, and everybody in their horse is talking about it. He's had over 50 senior appearances for Motherwell under his belt, and it seems that he will definitely leave January, with reports stating that Motherwell will not accept offers for less than 4 million. Now that's more than the 3.25 million that we paid Motherwell for David Turnbull. And people will say, look, David Turnbull didn't turn out to be a fantastically great player, but we did recoup 3 million of the David Turnbull money, with even only 6 months left to go with his contract. January is going to be a fantastically busy time when we're going to be talking about games. We've got lots to talk about, and then there is the transfer speculation that's going to be added into the mix. We are back. We are back at the game. We are back with football. We're back with Celtic playing every week, in and out. There's no break in January. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I know a few folk that have decided to head back from Spain to try and go to some games, due to the fact that we've still got season tickets. I wonder if I can sneak over in January. Keep an eye out for that one. Anyway, that's all for the Celtic news this morning. There's not a lot kicking around. It is Thursday afternoon. We will get some comments from Brendan Rodgers in the next 24 hours, so that will give us something to talk about. He will be asked about the squad. He'll be asked about players that have came back and the fitness of the players. He'll be asked about Nico Kuhn. I think he'll be asked about Greg Taylor and the situation going on with Greg Taylor, with only just over a month to go before Greg Taylor can talk to other players. Will it leave Celtic with that old-aged question? Who do we get for left back? This is one that's going to go on and on and on, and it's been going on for years. This is the thing with Celtic. The left back area has been a question that has been ever since Alex Granzo-Bernabe came in, and Celtic fans and certain people thought that he's not worth it. He's not good enough. But he's went back down to Brazil, and he is good enough down there. Well, it just shows you. Anyway, It'll all come out in the wash, as they say. Yes, that'll all come out in the wash. Have a fantastic day wherever you are, Celtic fans all around the world. And it's great to be back, isn't it? Back where we belong, watching Celtic.
Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party.